Joy and happiness. Two of the biggest things that make humans, well, human. Now, some could argue that they are the same and they are different, which I mean they both kind of are. Joy is something you kind of enjoy. It can be objects or people or such and such, but happiness is a bit different. It's like an inner feeling, overall sense. Happiness, and that's sort of to kind of differentiate. But most of the time, they actually are linked together. But there is something that causes joy and happiness, and that can be bubble wrap. Well, there's many things that can cause joy and happiness. Bubble wrap is a quite interesting one. It's been around for a very long time now, I believe the 1950s, and something is so simple, yet it brings so much joy. But there's an issue with the new bubble wrap compared to the old one. That is that the new bubble wrap will no longer pop when you squeeze it. Now, this is the iconic thing that bubble wrap has been known for, is popping and squeezing and such and such. But the new one does not. Now, there's a different system to it, but they're labeling it now as iBubble Wrap. iBubble Wrap, the difference between this one and the old one is that the new one has little pockets that transfer air between each one of the holes on the bubbles. So that way, if you try to pop one, the air simply squeezes out into another bubble, thus preventing it from popping. Now, the issue with this is it doesn't pop. That's what bubble wrap's known for. But all in all, it is a good design, productive, and everything else. But let's talk a little bit about the original bubble wrap. The original bubble wrap is a quite interesting product. Like I said before, it brings joy and happiness. It brings stress relief. It's weird how something just so simple can make such a change in someone's personality or day or such. But it's the overall sense of feeling of just popping one of these bubbles, and it just you get that feeling you don't get out of anything else, and it's amazing, really. It's sad because we used to have this everywhere, and well, now we don't. It can be used for a multitude of things. Bubble wrap can be used for protection as such. If you have infants running around the house, well, you can bubble wrap, say, tables or stuff, so that way they can't run into it. That can be safe. It's used all the time for fun games. You could dress up as a bubble wrap warrior and charge at each other. It's an interesting product. But the new one, which actually is a much more productive thing, it still lacks its kind of funness that it used to own. Now, story time. My experience of bubble wrap is during the Christmas time. We always, most of the time, Mom would shop off of somewhere online, and whenever you shop online, they delivered the packages, but most of the thing was bubble wrap. Now, what Mom and Dad would do and such is they leave the packages alone, and they leave the bubble wrap in the packages. So, thus, not only did we get our Christmas present on Christmas, but we also got an extra side of bubble wrap to play with among each other. Me and my three brothers, we did everything with the bubble wrap. That was like one of the first things we actually played with was the bubble wrap. It was it was funny because everything else got neglected for at least a few short minutes. But other than that, bubble wrap. One of the biggest things it can do is provide stress relief, which you wouldn't think it would. But studies have proven that the simple sounds of popping it, not being too loud, but just the kind of pleasure of popping at the same time, it brings this overall feeling and can ease your nerves and make you a calmer, more straightforward person, more focused and such. And universities and other places, they started doing things like this. They offer like little bubble wrap packets that you can use for your own self. Sorry about that. And it's interesting how something just so little can be of a major help. Now, like I said before, bubble wrap, it's used for multiple purposes and it's used for fun. I mean, who's not going to love a horse covered in bubble wrap? Surely even the horse probably likes it, as long as he doesn't get scared or anything. But bubble wrap's interesting. But here's the deal: why do we need both? Well, one's fun, and the other's a more productive thing. The other one reduces shipping cost, and it's easier to control. Less money overall. But we need both. We can't just have one or the other because we just love them both so much. So, to Sealed Air Corporation, on behalf of everyone, bring it back. Bubble wrap is everything. Okay, you see bubble wrap everywhere. We all love bubble wrap. That's what you're known for, is bubble wrap. That pops. But if it doesn't pop, then what's the point of bubble wrap, Where the fun goes. So bring back bubble wrap, because bubble wrap equals joy and happiness. And joy and happiness, well, equals a pretty good lifestyle, I gotta say. Alright, see y'all later.